Good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday. How's everybody doing? Woke up the day before Thanksgiving with it and nothing else is wrong, just your throat. Aw, that's the worst. Because then you're like, I feel fine other than the throat. Like, what is going on here? Oh, I'm sorry, Mountain. It's definitely the time of year where everybody's battling illness and things like that. And I know the day before Thanksgiving, and especially not being able to enjoy Thanksgiving because of it. Oh man. Not able to speak or eat without bad pain. Aw. Good morning, Galaxy. Thank you for the lurk. Good morning, Dusty. Congratulations on first, and Mountain, congratulations on second. What has been a highlight of everybody's week this week? I would say my highlight... Oh, 24 degrees there? Dang. What is it here? Don't kill me. Don't kill me, Dusty. It's 50. Good morning, Soul. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. The only thing that really helps is ice cream. Aww. Oh, good morning, Grandpa. How you doing? How's it going, Grandpa Blues? Aw, it's a pleasure seeing you too. Yeah, Mountain, ice cream usually helps me too. I don't know what it is. I'm doing well. Grandpa Blues. Highlight was Thanksgiving? Yes, that was a definite highlight for me too. Another highlight is my cousin got married yesterday. And so that was fun. Made a day trip about 4 hours north, and it went really, really well. 35 there. Nice. Keeping up on your final project for AutoCAD and enjoying the long weekend. Heck yeah! Woohoo! I love long weekends. Long weekends are the best. Yeah, sometimes there are just people in your life that you're better off just as friends or not interacting with them at all. Like sometimes it's better just to recognize when it's time to fully let somebody go. But I'm also glad that you have a cordial relationship where you're able to at least... Exactly, Mountain. I was just saying, you read my mind. You've got a relationship where you're cordial enough that you can interact about the kids. But yeah, sometimes that's the best you can do, and that's okay. There's an extra credit 3D project, for 3D printing project for SolidWorks. Not sure what you'd make. Ooh. What if you made a D20? What if you made your own 3D printed D20 soul? Would that work? Exactly. I agree, Grandpa. I think when you're in a happy and healthy marriage, that's that's one of the cornerstones to being happy. I think the true cornerstone to happiness is faith in God. But as long as you are, exactly, Grandpa, happy, healthy, loving, and committed, that is where it's best. Where you're happiest in the cornerstone of marriage. Now, granted, not all people are called to marriage, and that's okay too, because even in let's see, where I've got the Bible app on my phone here, you guys. I'm looking up a verse. There we go. Let's take a look at the full chapter here. Okay, so basically Paul said in First Corinthians that, there are some that are called to being single. He was called to be single. And there are some things you can do single that you can't do once you get married. And yeah. Yeah, 5 years later, that wasn't the truth. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the rough part is when you feel we've got a good thing going, but then something happens that shows you that it's not what you thought it was, and that's hard. Learning to date again after being married is such a weird experience. It can be, I hear. Having never been married, I can't exactly relate, but I do know dating in and of itself can be hard. It's one of those things where you date because you think that you can see a future with that person. Because I'm a firm believer in not necessarily shopping around, but you date because you want to get to know that person, which I guess if you were... how to phrase this? How to phrase this? Many of your Twitch friends feel the same way. You'd like to get over that hump, but so far you haven't been able to. I feel the same way. I would love to meet the man that God has for me and get married, adopt a couple of kids, but only in his timing. Only in his timing. And I'm a firm believer that dating isn't about shopping around. It's getting to know that person. I know that there's courtship, and so I guess I lean a little more, maybe, towards not necessarily full on old-fashioned courtship where you date because you're like, I'm gonna marry this person. But I believe you date in order to get to know the person, knowing that there is a chance if this works out, you two might end up married. But there's also the option to end that dating relationship and go back to just being friends. Lots of math for you to do. You're used to building from an engineering drawing. That makes sense. It would be a different, it would definitely be a different, part of the brain. Definitely, for sure. If you're wanting something more mechanical, you could maybe 3D print one of the projects that you've done in the past. Like one of the drawings that you've done for assignments. You could always 3D print one of those. Yeah, I can definitely see that mountain. Yeah, I can definitely see where it felt like a gut punch. Good morning, Rusty. How you doing? How you doing? Exactly. I started an account on Christian Mingle, but it never really felt right to me. I've always been like, I need to get to know you as a friend first, and then we'll do the whole, dating thing if it leads in that way. But I agree, face-to-face is better. It can start off online, but you gotta meet face-to-face. I hope you find somebody soon too, Dusty. I hope so. Good morning, Agent. Good morning, Agent Ice. How you doing? How you doing? Exactly, Mountain. She knew what she was getting into. And maybe didn't fully realize that commitment. That doesn't excuse what happened. But, yeah. Just getting over the flu and a sinus infection. Man, I tell ya, everybody's battling some form of illness around these parts. Oh, so you have to build it in SolidWorks first and then 3D print it? I mean, to a certain extent, Grandpa. I mean, you know what you're getting into, but you should also be willing to grow and change together. Because there was an episode of a show my mom and I used to watch where this one couple in the show was arguing, and it was because this other person, or this one person in the couple, had taken on some interests that she had kind of suppressed. Oh, that makes sense. That's a very different, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But this person in the couple had taken on some interests that had kind of been suppressed, but then come back to the surface. And the other person in the couple saw that as this like huge drastic change, and she was like, a marriage is an organic thing. It's supposed to grow and change as the people in it grow and change, and you have to have that solid enough foundation to love each other through those changes, if that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, you've got to do the build in SolidWorks first and then export it to the 3D printer. Okay, that adds up. That adds up. Okay. Yeah, you genuinely care about your fellow man. The money is okay. It helps you feed the kids. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. I agree with you there, Grandpa. I agree with you there. Like, if the job is a deal breaker, then yeah, you probably shouldn't get married. You know, especially if it's one that's a true calling, like being a frontline worker. Oh, she wanted you to ride the desk, which is something that you'd never do. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can understand being concerned. I can understand being concerned to the point where you're like, "Hey, I worry about you when you go and do your job, but at the same time, I recognize this is what you are called to do. I will pray for your safety, and I hope that at the end of each day, you come back home safe." You know, like there was a book series I read by one of my favorite Christian authors, and one of the characters in there was a firefighter. And of course, the wife was like, "Man, I wish that you had been called to, a safer job." But at the same time, she recognized he's doing what he can to be safe in this job. He has his buddies, his fellow co-workers and firefighters that are going to do what they can to keep each other safe. And as long as you come home at the end of the day, that's great. Like she was worried about him every day, of course. But what frontline worker spouse isn't worried about their loved one? If I were married to a firefighter, if I were married to a police officer, ambulance worker, military, anything like that, where they are putting their life on the line, of course, I would be worried about that person. But at the end of the day, I know they're doing what they were called to do. a D20 could be done. It would just be a bit of a brain teaser. That makes sense. That makes sense. All right, you guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and pray, and then I just realized I forgot to bring up a glass of water. So I'm going to, after we pray, I'm going to run downstairs real quick, go grab a cup of water, come back up, and then we're going to start back up on the woobles. You'd probably just start with the cube and shave edges away very methodically. There we go. Do you have any prayer requests, Grandpa? I'd be happy to pray for you. The stream booted you out. Twitch, be nice to my friend Mountain. And if it's not Twitch, then Mountain's internet service provider. You be nicer to my friend Mountain. Alrighty, Grandpa, if you think of anything, my DMs are always open, and I'm so glad you're here. It's so good to see you. It's been a while. And that's totally okay, Soul. I totally get that. I can't imagine a 3D printed D20 being as balanced as one that's like a dedicated D20. Not dedicated D20, made out of material that would be better balanced. You know what I mean? There we go. Sounds good, Grandpa Blues. I appreciate you. All right, you guys. If you have any prayer requests, please feel free to drop them below in chat. I would love to pray for you. And I'll look up partway through the prayer to make sure that I don't miss anything. And then I'll go grab a cup of water after prayer. Dear Lord, thank you so much for today. I ask that you be with each and every one of us. Show us your love, your presence, your peace. Thank you for everything you've done for us, from making this beautiful world to sending Jesus to die on the cross and rise again, and everything you have and will do for us. I ask that you be with Soul as she's working on this extra credit project potentially, that you help her be able to make this project correctly and let it turn out exactly the way she wants it to, Lord. I ask that you continue to help her with her classes and help her to be able to understand everything that's being taught and to continue to get good grades. There we go. I ask that you be with her driving and help her to continue to gain any little bits of confidence, Lord. I ask that you be with her dad and grant him a miracle healing on his shoulder, Lord. I ask that you be with their communication, Lord. Let there be better and more improved communication and better respect for boundaries and just understanding, Lord. I ask that you be with Mountain and help his throat to feel better and just continue to heal all of the hurt and the pain, Lord. I ask that you be with Grandpa Blues and continue to give him a good day and to just continue to rely on you. I ask that you be with Bayo and just as he's working, I think today, let him be a light for you, Lord. Or no, wait, no, it's not his weekend to work, but whenever he does work, I ask that you be with him and let him be a light. Just be with his family, be with him, and just keep them all close to you. I ask, Lord, that you be with Legend of Zyro and his family in this season of transition, and just help them to stay close to you, Lord. Be with DLC and guide and direct us in all of our decisions and our growth, Lord, and help us know when to come back and how to come back. Be with Sarah the Dreamer and Hylian Hufflepuff and just everything that they're going through in life. Just keep them close to you, Lord. I ask that you be with his little kitty and help her to feel better, and everything else that's going on in her life. Be with STL and his headaches. Be with Phelan and his headaches and his family. Be with Lotu and her family as they're getting ready to move. Be with her partner push and that partner application, Lord. Let Twitch look favorably on her and see all the hard work that she has put into building this amazing community, Lord. I ask that you be with each and every person here, Lord. I ask that you just help us all, if we're struggling physically, whether with illness or injury, to be able to feel better. Be with anyone who's struggling with mental health, especially on the holidays, Lord. It can be hard for those that are grieving, Lord. I ask that you be with those that are grieving. I ask that you just continue to be with each and every one of us. Let us have a fun time today. And in your name I pray. Amen. You tried telling her it's the only job you've ever had and that's all you know how to do, but it went in one ear and out the other. Yeah. You can't wait for Bayo's stream. Lord, I also pray for Mountain's friend who totaled his car in an accident, Lord. I ask that you just be there financially, physically, mentally, Lord. Anything like that can just be so damaging in multiple ways, Lord. Be with that streamer friend, Lord. And I also ask for revival here in America, Lord. Bring us unity. And I also want to ask prayers for my sister and brother-in-law as they're putting together their Christmas concert, and let that go well too. In your name I pray. Amen. All right, you guys, I'm going to go grab a quick drink of water, and I will be right back. All right, you guys, here's my water. Let me get caught up here on chat. Grandpa Blues destroyed your arm and right shoulder a few years ago. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it can definitely be a challenge to overcome for sure. And then you dislocated your right shoulder years ago, Mountain? Wow. All right, you guys, we're going to be crocheting. So we have done rows up through row 11. So this is what the project is looking like so far. So we're going to go ahead and put our 4mm crochet hook right here. Remove our stitch marker that is holding that in place. Doing it all. I'm not cheating. Definitely not. Definitely not. I've got the pattern right here on my screen. So we're on row 12, which is 2 single crochets followed by an increase stitch. Oh, using a loom. Gotcha. Do you like to crochet, Grandpa Blues? So we've got our 2 single crochets. So, well, there we go. Here's single crochet, partway through single crochet number 1. There we go. I'm a little slow because I am new to it. So there's our first single crochet of the row. So we're going to move our orange stitch marker right here. Make a big loop here so that way we can better put this through. Because what we're doing is we're marking the first stitch in each round, so that way we are definitely more able to see where our first round or where our round ends. You know almost nothing about it. What you've said in chat is literally all you know about it. Okay, gotcha. I'm actually pretty new to it too. I'm learning the single crochet, the increase stitch, and all that stuff. He's moved in next door because of his health troubles. He often needs you to help him put on long sleeve shirts and jackets, open bottles, etc. It's sad to see. Between the two of us, he's been the more optimistic one, but lately you think the devastation of his fall is starting to catch up to him. Okay, that makes sense. You watched your mom do it by hand and it was neat to see, but never interested you beyond that. That makes sense. Some people love crochet, some don't, and that's perfectly valid. So the single crochet is, you see the little V's? You go into the next V, you do what's called a yarn over, pull through 2, making sure to keep your hook in there. You yarn over, pull through 2, and that is our second single crochet. And yeah, I can definitely see where that would be hard for your dad, Soul, because he's one that strikes me as being very independent, and so being used to that independence and then realizing that he can't do it as often or as much as he used to, and losing that independence can definitely be hard. Now the increase stitch is simply 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So that's single crochet 1 into that stitch. So now we're going to go back into that stitch and do another single crochet into that same one. Now we go, that's the first one. So I'm going to mark that down as being our first time through that pattern. Single crochet, single crochet, and then increase stitch. Helps if I keep my loops not too big. Back into the same stitch. second time through that. And then single crochet. Hey, Weaver Wolf, how's it going? Single crochet. And then increase. So far, so good. We're working on our Fred the Dino from the Woobles. So that's our third time. So this is what he's going to look like when he's all done. Now, single. Oh. Yeah, maybe seeing a surgeon might help. They might be able to offer advice that the physical therapist hasn't been able to. Now we're on our increase stitch. There's 4. And then back to our single crochet. Increase. There we go. And then that was round 5 through that. And now our 6th time. Single crochet. Single crochet. Increase. Oh. So what does everybody have planned for the weekend? I'm excited because I have a D&D session with Soul and a bunch of other friends. And I've got a surprise for them, an early Christmas present. And I'm excited to see their reaction to it. I think they're all gonna love it. Alright, so that is round 12. Yeah, first it wasn't needed, and then, yeah. That's always annoying when information changes like that because you're like, but I thought it was this and now it's this. So now round 13 is going to be simple. It's going to be 24 single crochets. So we're just going all the way back around with single crochets. Oh, don't lose the loop. Okay, there we go. Let's double check our count because I want to make sure that I didn't accidentally erase one of my increased stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So now 24 single crochets all the way around. So we got all single crochets, which is a crocheter's dream around. Because it's so much easier just doing the same stitch all the way around. So again, we're going to remove the orange stitch marker, make that nice and big, remove our hook so we can more easily put that, want to put our stitch marker through. There we go. And that way we've marked our first stitch of the round. Now we just keep on going with single crochets all the way around. By the way, Soul, what time is your ride coming over to pick you up? 'Cause I might be able, if that particular ride isn't for whatever reason able to pick you up, I could always pick you up. But I'm pretty sure that friend said she was still able to do it. Alright, so we are working our way around doing single crochets. I'm thinking I can see where the eyes are gonna be going because I'm seeing a head and a neck starting to take shape. And that is really cool when you're able to really start seeing your project take shape. This is my first time ever doing what's called amigurumi, which is like the 3D crochet projects. And so, been learning how to crochet for a few months now, and finally feeling like I'm able to make an amigurumi happen. I was thinking at first I could start with amigurumi, and then I realized, no, that ain't happening. I need to learn all the basics first before I can even begin to do that. But what's nice about the Woobles is they make videos where you're able to follow along with that. Good morning, Durgo. How you doing? One of your point rewards is the Doctor Who theme. You have an alarm where Tennant says, bingle bongle, dingle dangle, lippity doo, lippity da, ping pong, lippy tappy too-ta. I love that one. I love that. And that's actually from a deleted scene. Well, not necessarily deleted scene, but they shortened the scene. And they basically just let him improvise a bunch of stuff. And you can see him saying it somewhat if you're watching the episode Blink. You can look and see that wait, not Blink. The one where he becomes a human. He's like, I'm in the TARDIS now and I'm about to wind up. But not before I make a few random noises with my mouth. Something along the lines of bingle bongle, dingle dangle, yippity doo, yippity da, ping pong, lippy tappy too-ta. And that's one of my favorites. And I love where he talks about, don't let me eat pears, I hate pears. Velen fractured the ball of his shoulder. Hands are terribly swollen still, but it's probably because of the arthritis. Yeah, that makes sense. And turned 71. Yeah, I can see where arthritis would make it harder. And the cold weather can really, really wreak havoc on any arthritis. With the weather being as varied as it is these days, I can see where any arthritis might be flaring up for sure. Exactly. Yeah, there's a video of everything he says while being fast forwarded. Yup. Because Martha's like, no, I'm not listening to this. I want to know that I want to know you're going to be okay. I want to know how to get you back. I want to know how to get you out of human form. Because you said you weren't supposed to fall in love. Okay, come on. There we go. Alright, so now we have finished. Oh, okay, gotcha. You're going to mutual friend's place. Perfect! That works out really well, because mutual friend lives like 5-10 minutes away from your place. That works out perfect. So now we are on round 14, which is a 2 single crochets, increase stitch. There we go. For a total of 32. We're going to do that 8 times. Although, how we're going to be able to do that 8 times? Oh, because we went from 18 to 24. I see what they're doing. Okay. 10 to 15 with construction and all. Yeah, that adds up. That adds up. So, we have more stitches in this round, so that's how we're going to end up with 32. So, single crochet. Make that nice and big so that we can put our stitch marker in. I'm going to give myself some more yarn from our skein. Single crochet for number 2. And now our increase stitch. All right, so that's one time through. Yeah, it all depends on what the doctors find, what they feel comfortable doing, and what the medical science is saying. But God is above it all, which is why we ask for a miracle of healing. Single crochet. Oh, come on. There we go. Now you want to work with me. All right, so we should have 5. Right? No. Yes. Single crochet, increase stitch, single crochet, single crochet. So single crochet, increase. We should have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So now increase. Because the increase stitch is going to add up to 2 stitches. So that's why we're going to have an even number. You may or may not be looking at alternative routes since you don't care for the left-hand turn you have to make along the way. Only problem is all the quietest streets you would take are closed, and when they hit that annoyingly under construction road that shall not be named, the one that starts with a G. Yeah, left-hand turns when they're not protected can be a bit annoying. Yeah, that road I think is just forever going to be under construction. Because that's just the way our town is. They take forever to do anything. And I don't know why. I don't understand. Oh, come on. Alright. No, we're gonna... Alright, now we gotta count our stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, cool. So now we do our increase. We're ready for the increase. I know part of it's money, part of it is just the amount of time it takes to do stuff, but at the same time I'm like, do you have to take so long? Like, they've been doing construction on our freeway, and every time they just move it closer and closer to my side of town, and I'm like, why? You take years just to finish this. Yep. It keeps messing me up too because I'm like, oh yeah, they're doing this here now instead of there, and it's annoying. But unfortunately, it is a necessary evil. My hat is off to all construction workers, though, because it is a thankless job, because all motorists get annoyed with construction, and if you're doing what you can with what you got, and you're just trying to get home and make money at the end of the day. But at the same time, please can construction go faster? This should be our increase stitch. Okay, so it is pulling up on that one. Okay. Yep, you do. You build America. Winter and road construction, right? Are you a construction worker, Grandpa Blues? Your state bird is the mosquito, right? Mosquitoes, man, they can be annoying. Well, thank you so much for all you do. Uh-oh, I lost where I was. How many single crochets did I do? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, so I'm ready for my increase stitch. Exactly, soul. Exactly, and I pray that every single day. Come on. Oh, I may be holding it too tight. Tension is one of those things that I'm working on when it comes to crochet. And then we're on our last time through. We've got single crochet, single crochet. There we go. And our final increase stitch. And there we go. All right, we've got about a minute before our ad break. So use that time. I'll go to BRB and then take a minute to just move around a bit, things like that. I've got a 1-minute ad break every hour. So definitely feel free to use that time to just like take a lap around your house or whatever you need to do to kind of get the blood pumping. And that'll do it. And we'll be back in a minute after the... Yeah, second opinion soon would be best. So now we've done our stitches for round 14. So now we're on 15. And so once we get back from our ad break, we will do round 15, which is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful 32 single crochets. Before we go to ad break, I'm going to give you guys an update on what it looks like. Make this nice and big for me. We can see the head really starting to form and take shape. I'm thinking our eyes are going to go right there. And then there's the little dent in between them for the little nose. And then we've got his neck really starting to take shape. And so that's really cool. It's really fun when you can see your project fully starting to take shape. All right, you guys, ad break. BRB. All right, we're back from ads. Isn't he though, Soul? I love him. I love him so much. So now, there we go. Get my yarn where it needs to be. Move my stitch marker a little bit. So our next round is 32 single crochets. So we're just going around all the way with single crochets. Make that nice and big so I can take the hook out and move my stitch marker. Because this is my first project ever really working in the round. And so I'm attempting to stay in the habit of putting marking all my first stitches in each round. Because that'll just make my life so much easier when it comes to counting stitches. So we're just working our way around. I like that this pattern is pretty easy to do. It's got simple stitches that are very, very beginner friendly. Which is something that I am definitely here for, because as a beginner, I know what it's like when you're discouraged to, while trying to do a project because you just don't know how to do it. And it feels frustrating to not feel like you're making progress. But with these, all of these stitches are ones that you can master easily once you've seen them a couple of times. And you're able to, practice them kinesthetically, because I am a firm believer that crochet is one of those ones that it takes a mixture of visual and kinesthetic to fully get, because you're not gonna fully get it until you try and do it yourself. You have to let your muscles memorize those movements. And it's not going to happen, it's not going to fully click until your muscles have had a chance to memorize those movements. But yet you also need the opportunity to have somebody teach you visually as well. You kind of have to, it takes a lot of see and copy. I've seen on Grey's Anatomy, they have, they call it the see one, teach one, do one model. And so what that is you see it first, then you teach it. So you walk somebody through the steps, which allows the person that you're teaching to see if there's any gaps in learning, and then you do one. You just watch someone build an icosahedron on YouTube in under 10 minutes? What? I don't even know what that is, but that sounds cool. But I really like the see one, teach one, do one. Because what it is it's a gradual release of responsibility. The first time, you are strictly an observer. The second time, you're walking somebody through it that knows what they're doing, so that that person who knows what they're doing can look for any gaps in knowledge. Then, you're doing one yourself. And that's kind of like what the Woobles are doing. They're doing a modified gradual release of responsibility where they... Oh, a D20. Okay. And they built one of those in under 10 minutes? That's crazy. I would have thought that would take not necessarily hours, but, depending on the size that you want, I would have thought that would take at least half an hour. But the Woobles will walk you through each stitch a couple of times. They'll do a lot of hand holding the first couple of times. But then once you got the hang of the stitches, then they're like, all right, we'll see you at the next video. This is what it should look like. And to me, that works really, really well, especially for my learning style, because I'm one of those, I want to be handheld the first couple times I do something, but eventually I need to be able to do it on my own. And so that gradual release of responsibility model works really, really well for my learning style. Oh, okay. That adds up. That adds up. Enneagram 5 coming in handy. Yes! You know all the amazing stuff, all the amazing Google hacks and things like that to look up. And I love it. So now we are on round 16, and we're going to be doing we're going to be narrowing our neck now. So we have 2 single crochets and then a decrease stitch. So I'll walk you guys through that. And we're going to do that all the way around. So single crochet. Make our loop nice and big so I can put our stitch marker under the first stitch of our new round, preferably without taking the loop with the working yarn with it. There we go. Parfait, as they say in French. They were able to build it in 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Dang! It sounds to me like they really have the work down. They're very advanced. And so they were able to know what all the inputs were and things like that. I think once you know once you're more familiar with the software and what it needs to do and what all needs input where, I think you'll be able to get there. Just takes practice. Single crochet. So this is our second single crochet of the row, or the round, and then decrease stitch. Now we're doing what's called an invisible decrease stitch. That means we're taking the front loops, or the 2 loops, or the loop of the next 2 stitches that are closest to us, and single crocheting those. And then we go into our next one. So single crochet, there we go. Single, oh, we'll try that again. Single crochet, decrease. So we need to do our invisible decrease stitch. So what the decrease stitch does, especially the invisible one, is it narrows. The increase stitch widens, the decrease stitch narrows. I might still have my tension just a bit too tight. There we go. Now, when you're first starting out, you're going to want to make sure you are constantly counting your stitches, making sure that you have all the right amount of stitches in each row. So at the end of this round, I'm going to make sure I have 24. Oh, no worries, Mountain. IRL always comes first. I hope that the call went well, even if it was annoying. We're making some good progress, I think, here, you guys. Come on. There we go. Work with me here. Well, hello there, Chief Little Turtle. I will take care of those in just a second. I will be happy to do a hydrate. And a posture check. There we go. So now single crochet, single crochet, decrease, my turkey day was fantastic. We had a friend over that's very much like family to us, and so she was able to come over and enjoy our Thanksgiving meal with us. And she brought over some dessert for us all to enjoy. So that was pretty cool. And then we got to go see the Wicked movie, which was pretty good. Actually, it was more than pretty good. It was fantastic. How was your turkey day? 2D sketches are like drawing on paper. Want to draw a horizontal line from the center that's 2 inches long? No problem. Put the pencil or cursor down, drag it out 2 inches, and you're done. There we go. I love it. Big serving, or you had 8 big servings with all the fixings and trimmings. Nice. I had, let's see, I had one pretty big serving of pretty much everything. And then after that, we went to go see the Wicked film, which was fantastic, and had some popcorn there. All right, so I have finished round 16. So let's count and make sure that we have 24. I'm going to make my loop there bigger so that I can more easily count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Uh-oh. I missed something. So, let's go back. Let's count how many we have in our last one. And make sure that we did that correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay. That explains it. There we go. There's 32. Perfect. So now we'll redo round 16. So single crochet. The ones with the decreased stitch tend to be a bit harder for me to keep count on for some reason. I see your message, Soul. Give me 1 second to make sure I've got this. Single crochet. Then we need decrease. Okay. For class, you mostly do 2D sketches. 3D sketches are weird lines floating around in space. It's hard to anchor them down. That 2D that was built, lots of 3D sketching. Oh, the D20 was built out in space and not on paper. Oh, dang. Dang. That's amazing. All right. Single. Single. Decrease. It's all good, Soul. It's all good. I think I figured out what you're saying. The D20 was built using a 3D model, so it looks like it was just floating everywhere and not necessarily flat 2D. Aw, I love that they want to call you, though, Mountain. That's awesome. Single crochet. Single crochet. Decrease. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But at the same time, you're making the time for them, and that's what matters most. They know that they can call and you'll answer. And then decrease. And that's pretty much the norm. Until they get older, they're super, super dependent on you. And that's okay. That's the way it should be. Yeah, at 5, they're very much gonna be just needing daddy and mommy and just wanting all the love and attention. I know, but at the same time, they still need the attention from both of you, and so it makes sense that that's why they're calling you a lot. Hold on. I lost where I was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hold on. Okay, should be on single crochet because it's 3. I'm sorry she makes it hard for you to see them. That's not the way it should be. Hmm. Single, single, decrease, or decrease, it might be single, decrease, single, single, or decrease. Hold on. I need to go back. I need to redo this round again because it's being wonky. Alright, so single, where that is. Single, decrease, single, 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 single, oh, decrease, single. We'll just do single, single, single. And see if that adds up to 24. Hey, how's it going, vocal deck? Almost done with this round. I gotta double check a couple things after. Alright, let's get caught up here. It's like you have to appease her first, which basically means saying all the bad things about you, if you know what you mean. If I know what you mean. Wonky is such a fun word, isn't it? I love it. I absolutely love the word wonky. It's kind of fun to say. Now we gotta double check. How's it going, vocal deck? We gotta double check and make sure we've got 24 stitches in this round. Oh, you know what? Nope, I didn't. Okay. So let's put this back. Make our loop nice and big, because that's the loop that we're working with. All right, so 1, 2, let's start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Hey, we did it. We got her. We got her done. Our round is complete. Of course, your water heater's messed up and it gave you like 10 minutes of hot water in your shower. Oh, man. And of course, it's when your girlfriend takes her bath, it's almost infinite hot water. Ah. I know for me, sometimes, if I know that somebody else has taken a warmer shower, if I give it about 10-ish minutes, that gives the water heater enough time to get all the hot water back. So now, this is a crocheter's dream. We have 24 single crochets in this next round. So what are you up to today, Vocal Duck? Anything fun? Did you have a good Thanksgiving? 8 tons of food, so much very good food. You were able to cook some Brussels sprouts and they did not contain cabbage worms. Yes! Did they turn out exactly like you wanted? The not too burnt, but also somewhat burnt. Like, nice and just the way you like it. We're continuing our work on Fred the Dino. Oh, good! I'm glad it turned out exactly the way you wanted. How's the relationship going? I remember about a month or so ago you had asked for prayers for that. Is there any update on that? If you'd rather talk about that privately, that's fine too. I know this is a pretty public area. You've learned a whole lot about yourself and what you're down with for a relationship, but yeah, the prayers helped. Good. I'm so glad. And you know what? Sometimes that is the key when it comes to any relationship, dating or courtship, is that you figure out what you're looking for. Each person involved in the relationship finds what they're looking for. And they learn about themselves, what they can and can't live with, and what they want out of said relationship. And sometimes those things align, sometimes they don't. But it's better to figure those things out before entering into any kind of like a marriage situation. How are your parents doing? Hopefully I did not skip a stitch. Part of me is kind of worried I did. If I did, I can always do an increased stitch on the last stitch. I'd rather not I'd rather not have to do that. But if I have to, I will. Because sometimes that increased stitch, it can make things look a little weird. Today you're hopefully going to do as little as possible. Things have just been so busy. I hear that. I had a trip up north that I was going on, and it was an awesome trip. It really was. It was a lot to wake up as early as I did on a day off. But coffee helped. Your parents are doing as well as they can these days. They can do things like every 3 days nowadays. They still want to make holiday dinners big. Too big. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, is they're learning what they can and can't do, and that's the important thing, is that they hopefully will learn that it's okay to ask for help. But I also know that losing that independence and not being able to do as much as you used to, that is a lot to get used to. I did. My cousin got married, so that was the reason for the trip up north. It was really good. It was cold up there. And so I was like, I'm glad I've got this jacket from Land's End that is it's got a vest zipped into it, and so it can be extra, extra warm, which is nice. Thanksgiving went well. Mild family conflict. Nothing too serious, just sad. Your dad and you brought tamales that you did not make, but they are loved by all just the same. Right? I made the green bean casserole, and it was a super easy dish to make. I followed the instructions on the back of the French's fried onions box, and what you do is you just put a bunch of ingredients together. Like you've got your 1 can of cream of mushroom, followed by oh gosh, how much milk was there? However much milk there is, some pepper, 2/3 cup of the French's fried onions, and then you bake that, and the 4 cups of green beans. Mix all that together, bake for 30 minutes, take it out, put another 2/3 cup of French's fried onions on top, bake for another 5 minutes so that the French's fried onions can get a little crispy, and then you're good. Well, I'm glad the family conflict wasn't too serious. If you ever want to talk about it, let me know. I'm more than happy to listen. You're super glad that these days they're more willing to accept your help. You helped a lot this Thanksgiving dinner, and you're glad. Also learned how to cook prime rib. Nice! You're gonna have to cook that for the friend group one day. Heck yeah! Chef Dave, how you doing? So we need to count some stitches. He buys homemade tamales from a former coworker. They have become our staple contribution at family gatherings. That totally makes sense. How you doing, Chef Dave? Everything been lurking? I'm doing well too. Thank you so much for lurking. We're gonna count some stitches and make sure that we have 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's start over because I lost my place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yes, we did it. We did it, you guys. 24 single crochets. We are now on round 18. And tamales are so good. So good. Your mom is famous in the family for being able to cook a wicked sick prime rib. Your aunt tried several times and couldn't get it right. You thus have an official family secret recipe. I love it! So now for row 18, it's 1 single crochet and then a decrease. So single crochet, we're going to remove our orange stitch marker, make the loop nice and big for us. Put that stitch marker right through. Oh, come on, working yarn. The working yarn sometimes, if you make the loop too big, likes to hang out with your stitch marker, so just be careful about that. So what have you been up to lately, Chef Dave? Work still going well? Any updates on the new hires front? So single crochet, so now we do a decrease. But you'll be fully staffed next week. Hallelujah. 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 That has got to be the best feeling right there. Knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Your aunts and a few cousins are the cooks in your family. Neither of your parents really has any knowledge or skills in that area, and as a result, neither do you. You do a good job. Like, I've always enjoyed anything you've ever made. You're similar to me, Soul. Your cooking is similar to me. I've determined that if I ever owned a restaurant, it would be called a la box. Because most of my cooking comes from following the instructions written on the box. Everything is pre-packaged. We're good. But I'm learning. So now we single crochet. So are you seeing a light at the end of the tunnel to all those long days, Dave? And then we... yeah, there we go. I did do it right. Decrease stitch. Single crochet. You reckon you are? You're actually getting 3 days off next week? Oh my goodness. That is the best. Those long weekends can be so rejuvenating. Single crochet. As soon as I finish this round, I'll get caught up on chat. Oh, come on. Decrease. There we go. Single crochet. Gonna need some more yarn. There we go. Decrease. Good morning, Mother Goose. How you doing? Hope you're doing so well. We're working on Fred the Dino from the Woobles. Been a chill day? Those are the best. Those are seriously the best when you can just chill. There we go. Decrease. And then we single crochet. And we decrease. Oh, I may have messed up, but we'll see. We'll see how I did. We just need 16 stitches. So let's make this loop nice and big. Throw the working yarn out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yes! Yep, the little list is the pattern. So let me get caught up since we're at the end of the round. I will get caught up on chat here. So we are working on Fred the Dino. So this is what he's going to look like at the end. So we are on round 19, which means we're going to be doing 16 single crochets. Let's see, here we go. Catching up from Soul saying, I do experiment with making curry. That's as advanced as you usually get, but often the curry cubes also come in a box as well. That makes sense. That makes sense. It used to be that you didn't know much about cooking, but you think your mom at some point was like, well, since you don't have a wife, I'll just start teaching you. Oh, man. Well, I'm glad she started teaching you there, Vocal Duck. Well, those 3 days are split up, but you'll take it. The nice thing is you can stay late if need be and no worries about OT. Heck yeah, Chef Dave! You're not going to say no to learning more recipes. Right? Curry is so good. When it's, for me, I can't do a lot of spice, so I prefer a more mild curry. But curry is so good. It's definitely chill for you, Dave. It's in the mid-40s. Let's see, what is it for me right now? It is currently 61 with a low of 47 and a high of 77. Your favorite is the Instant Pot chicken curry. And that is probably the height of your culinary expertise. I will have to send you, Soul, my garlic and honey chicken recipe for the Instant Pot. Because, dang, it's good. Dang, it's good. And you just use minute rice to serve it over. So you cook the chicken and the sauce in the Instant Pot, but then you can just do minute rice to serve it over, and it is absolutely delicious. Isn't it so cute, Mother Goose? We're making this for my brother-in-law, and I am so excited to see his face when he gets it. You're gonna get up to the mid-60s, but that's cold for you. Yeah, I hear that. 40 is cold to me as well. Alrighty, sounds good. I can't wait to hear what movie you guys are watching. Alright, round 19, and then we get to put the safety eyes in, you guys. We are making so much progress. So 1. And again, moving our stitch marker. There we go. Two. I want to say it was in like the 30s or 40s at the wedding yesterday. Maybe 50s. Either way, it was cold. I was glad I had my... I was so glad I had my heavier coat with me because I was like, ain't no way. I was doing the live stream. And so I was on my uncle's Facebook page because my uncle was actually presiding over the wedding. And so that was an interesting experience. One, two, three, four. So we should be on 5. You prefer a rice cooker over instant rice? Yeah, depending on the mood. Like if I'm doing like a risotto, I love doing arborio rice because arborio rice is like the best for a risotto. I absolutely love that. So I'll cook the arborio rice in the Instant Pot. But most of the time, like if I'm in a rush, I'll do instant rice. I'm going to try and finish up this round before the ad break. We've got a few seconds before the ad break. If not, no worries. I will go to BRB and we will not move any further along until we are all set to go. I would say arborio rice is probably one of my favorite rices. I prefer arborio over instant. Let's see, and during the ad break, I'll try and get my stitches counted as well, just so that way we are ready to go with stuffing and putting the safety eyes in. All right, ad break. We'll stay on here for now. For those that are not in the ad break. And we are going to count our stitches. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We did it! We did it! Woohoo! Welcome back from ads, you guys. We're doing a stretch for a vocal duck. Oh yeah, absolutely. Wrists can always use a good stretch. There we go. Let's make sure that I need to get up and we're going to do a little march in place here, you guys, because I did not take advantage of my time that I had for a break to be able to do a march in place, because I like to do a little march in place to get the blood pumping a bit. You know what I mean? There we go. Get the blood going. We haven't really moved a lot over the last hour. So, let's go ahead and turn up our desktop audio on here. We're going to go ahead and click out of this video because we are now out of that video and we are going to go into the Add Safety Eyes.
All right, now it's time to attach the eyes. So, big disclaimer, if you're going to give this to a small child or a pet, do not use the plastic eyes. They are ironically called safety eyes, but not safe for small children or animals. Instead, you're going to want to embroider the eyes. So if you want to do that, there's some black yarn that's in your envelope called the Wee Woobly Bits, or it's directly in your kit. And you'll want to finish your piece first, and then tap on the help icon below to follow along the videos to learn how to embroider eyes.
Right? Look at them little peepers. They're so cute. They are so cute.
If you want to learn how to use safety eyes, open up that brown envelope that came in your kit called the Wee Woobly Bits and take out the 2 black pieces that look like screws and then these 2 gray discs.
All right.
You need to put the eyes between round 6 and 7 with 17 stitches between them. So first, let's orient this piece correctly. You actually crocheted this upside down. So this side's the head and this side's the butt. So let's just flip that around. So now we can correctly see where round 1 is. So round 1 was that pre-started piece. It was that magic loop at the very top over here, this circle that you see. So every round of stitches looks like another circle, really a spiral. So this point is the point between rounds 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 5, 5 and 6, 6 and 7. So I'm arbitrarily gonna stick an eye in here for now. I know that it's a vaguely right because I'm trying to get the eyes to be on the side of this piece. So the part that boops out like this, that's the snout. So that's the front. So for now, I'll just stick an eye in here. And just make sure that this round part of the eye is facing the outside of the piece. The right side of the piece that's only made up of V's. Now we need to put the second eye 17 stitches away from this one. 17 stitches away around the front of the piece actually. So like I said, the front of the piece is the side that boops out like this. That's the snout. And to count stitches away, you gotta look at the hole that the current safety eye is in. And then that hole should have an upside down V that connects it to another hole. So that upside down V is a stitch, which means this hole is 1 stitch away from the eye. So if we just keep feeling for every divot, that's how we can count 17 stitches away. So 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I'm going to stick the other eye in this hole for now. And then take a look if I think that it looks centered. So it is totally not centered. You can see this side pokes out way more, which means I did not put the eyes centered with the head.
Oh, it looks
so
like
I actually
it's more
need to
to
move the eyes
Okay.
more this way. So I'm going to pick up one eye, move it 2 holes over, and then pick up the other eye and move it 2 holes over and see if that straightened out a bit better. And you're really eyeballing it. Like, say that 17 stitches, no matter what you do, does not look even. No worries. There's no real right or wrong with crochet. Just put the eyes wherever it looks good to you.
We'll go like that. That looks good. That looks so much better. Look at him.
Now that I've got both eyes where I want them to be, I need to secure them with the washers, these gray discs. So I want to use these washers so that the flat part is against the fabric. What I'm going to do is look at the inside of my piece, and I probably can't reach those eyes unless I move this fabric a bit to poke it out again. All right, there we go. I can see the pointy parts of the eyes. I'm going to put the washer on the stem with the flat part of the washer facing the fabric, facing the yarn. And then I'm going to push down on the edges of this washer while also pushing
This is going to be hard
on the eye to push the washer down so that it cinches the yarn. For this little guy, it looks something like this.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Now I got it. I think. Let's see. Where is... There. Okay. I'm more going on feel. There we go. There we go. Yes! We got one down. Okay. Now... Almost. This eye has given me a little tiny bit of trouble, but not too much. Let's see what it's doing. I think what I might be end up... There we go. Look how cute, except I think I may have put the eyes a bit too close together, but I think it'll look fine. I think this will end up looking just fine, because I'm thinking that's the snout there. I think it'll look just fine, and if not, then he'll still love it anyway. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. All right. So now we've put in our safety eyes.
Now it is time to stuff this body. So you want to grab that little pillow of stuffing that came in your kit and open that up. You might see all this stuffing and think that you should just stick the stuffing in your plushie, but if you do that, your plushie might come out looking a little bit lumpy. So there is a bit of a technique here. What you want to do is pull layers of your stuffing out and make these kind of flat discs that are about the same diameter of whatever you're about to stuff. So I'm making a kind of small tuft of stuffing because that's going at the top of the head, and I'm pushing down on all angles, all edges of it. Then I'm going to take another layer of stuffing, and that one's going to be slightly bigger because I can see the head's getting a little bigger. I'm going to push that in as well. And I'm going to keep repeating this until my plushie is nice and full. So I'm going to say that this is a pretty good amount of stuffing for my body. It's keeping a nice cute egg shape, and it's not stretching my yarn out too much. I didn't use all the stuffing that came in my kit, but how much you use kind of depends on how tightly you crochet. Leave a little bit of stuffing behind so you can use it later to lightly stuff the tail. And at this point, my stuffed piece looks like this.
Okay, so we're going to just keep stuffing until we get a bit of an egg shape. So he's not going to have a super big snout, but that is okay. I'm going to add just a little more. But my sister's way of saying stuffies in lieu of plushies has always made you think of taxidermy, right? What do you guys think? Hey, how's it going, Dreamer? Do you think we might need just a little more? Or do you think we're pretty good? I'm thinking we're pretty good, but we still have about half of our stuffing. You gotta prep for a haircut in a little while. Nice! Are you getting just a trim? So maybe we'll just add about half of that. There we go. That way we still have enough. And we can... There we go. Yeah, we don't want to overstuff, for sure. There we go. That ought to do the trick. He looks so cute. No more 80s hair for 2 months. Woohoo! All right.
Okay.
Round
Here
20.
you've done the very last round of this piece. And if you are like me, you have a giant gaping hole in the middle.
Aw,
but
see you
don't
later,
worry,
Dreamer.
That is totally
Have a
normal
good
and totally okay.
haircut.
I'm going to show you how to get rid of that hole in the next step.
All right, so we got 8 decrease stitches. We're going to go ahead, move this now, since we know we're starting there. 1 and 2. So there's 1. 2. 3, 4. I guess this is 3. There we go. 4. 5. 6. Come on. There we go. 7. Whoop. And 8. Oh. Big loop. There we go. So far, this is what he looks like. Let's double check our count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go.
So the pattern says you're done making a ball, but you still have a hole in the middle of your ball. Don't worry, that's totally normal. To close it, you're going to need a tapestry needle. which is inside the envelope that came with your kit, called the Wee Woobly Bits. And you'll also need some scissors.
Oh, I
So
will be
first
right
things
back. I'm
first,
going to go
we're
grab
gonna
some
cut
scissors.
the yarn connected to the yarn ball about 6.
BRB. There we go. We've got ourselves some scissors. Scissors and tapestry needle. About 6 inches away.
6 inches away from the stitch that you just made. So I'm going to cut it somewhere around here. And then I'm going to take my hook and then pull the hook away from me so that the yarn that's on the hook goes completely through the loop. So I've just got one strand of yarn coming out now.
Okay.
Then I'm going to put the hook aside.
Hold on.
I don't
I'm
need
gonna
it anymore
rewatch
for this
this.
part. I'm going to thread this yarn tail through the tapestry needle.
I'm going to watch this again.
So the pattern says you're done making a ball, but you still have a hole in the middle of your ball. Don't worry, that's totally normal. To close it, you're going to need a tapestry needle, which is inside the envelope that came with your kit, called the Wee Woobly Bits, and you'll also need some scissors. So first things first, we're going to cut the yarn connected to the yarn ball about 6 inches away from the stitch that you just made. So I'm going to cut it somewhere around here. And then I'm going to take my hook and then pull the hook away from me so that the yarn that's on the hook goes completely through the loop. So I've just got one strand of yarn coming out now. Then I'm going to put the hook aside. I don't need it anymore for this part. I'm going to thread this yarn tail through the tapestry needle.
Hold it the wrong way. Come on. Hook. Ah! He fell. He went away. There we go. I got you, buddy. I got you, buddy. Okay. So, pull this all the way through. So I have one piece, so it looks like this now.
So the pattern says you're done making a ball, but
Let's
you still
double
have a
check.
hole in the middle of your ball.
I mean, it's
Don't
too
worry,
late really to
that's
do much
totally
of
normal.
anything.
To close it, you're going to need a tapestry needle, which is inside the envelope that came with your kit, called the Wee Woobly Bits, and you'll also need some scissors. So first things first, we're going to cut the yarn connected to the yarn ball about 6 inches away from the stitch that you just made. So I'm going to cut it somewhere around here. And then I'm going to take my hook and then pull the hook away from me so that the yarn that's on the hook goes completely through the loop. So I've just got one strand of yarn coming out now. Then I'm going to put the hook aside. I don't need it anymore for this part. I'm going to thread this yarn tail through the tapestry needle.
Perfect. Feel my throat getting a little dry. There we go.
Now you're going to put this tapestry needle under the front loops of every stitch of this last round, starting with the one marked by the stitch marker. So take a look at the V that the stitch marker is under, and remember the front loop is the side of the V that is closer to you. So it is this part of the V. And you're always going to pull your tapestry needle from the outside of the circle to the inside, so it should feel like you're moving your needle from the bottom up, and every time you pull it through a loop, pull it tight. Alright, I just finished that and the hole has disappeared. Now to make sure that everything I did stays intact, I'm going to stick the needle into the middle of this hole and out somewhere on the other side of the body, anywhere really. The goal is to get this yarn caught up in the stuffing on the inside of the piece so that it doesn't move and accidentally unravel. So once you pull that yarn through your piece, you can take the tapestry needle off and pick up your scissors again. You're gonna cut the yarn as close to the surface of your piece as possible, taking care not to actually cut the surface of your piece. And then, if you have any remaining pieces of yarn visible there, you're just gonna massage your piece until it disappears on the inside. And now you have a finished wooble body.
Okay, so now I've done that. Okay. If you alternatively used beans in addition to instead of the stuffing, is there something you gotta do to the beans beforehand, or can you just snag a bag of pintos from the grocery store and go to town? That is a very good question.
Now you're gonna put this tapestry needle
I have
under
no
the
idea.
front loops of every stitch of this last round, starting with the one marked by the stitch marker. So take a look at the V that the stitch marker is under, and remember the front loop is the side of the V that is closer to you. So it is this part of the V. And you're always gonna pull your tapestry needle from the outside of the circle to the inside, so it should feel like you're moving your needle from the bottom up. And every time you pull it through a loop, pull it tight. All right, I just finished that and the hole has disappeared. Now to make sure that everything I did stays intact, I'm going to stick the needle into the middle of this hole and out somewhere on the other side of the body, anywhere really. The goal is to get this yarn caught up in the stuffing on the inside of the piece so that it doesn't move and accidentally unravel. So once you pull that yarn through your piece, you can take the tapestry needle off and pick up your scissors again. You're gonna cut the yarn as close to the surface of your piece as possible, taking care not to actually cut the surface of your piece. And then, if you have any remaining pieces of yarn visible there, you're just gonna massage your piece until it disappears on the inside. And now you have a finished wooble body.
Wooble body! Wooble body! We did it! Look how cute! Look how cute! I would assume you could just snag a bag of pintos from the grocery store and go to town. So we made it through the body. So now we've got that. We need to do this. Okay, let's see how far we can get in the next half hour.
It's time to learn how to start a round crochet piece all by yourself. Round crochet pieces like plushies or hats often
He has a
start with
body
something called
and
a magical loop.
eyes.
It's called magical because there's no hole in the center. That's why it's extremely popular for amigurumi plushies in particular, because it looks nice and neat. But since it's your first time crocheting, a magic loop can be pretty hard to do. So instead of doing this technique, I'm going to show you how to do this technique, which is called crocheting a ring into a chain. As you can see, there's a small hole in the middle, but the plus side is it's easier to do, so at least you'll have a circle to be able to crochet into. If you'd rather take on the challenge of learning how to make a magic loop, click on the help icon below. Otherwise, grab your green yarn and follow along.
Here we go.
You first need to make what's called a slip knot.
Okay, that's easy.
To make a slip knot, lay out your yarn horizontally. Then pick up the yarn tail and loop that once around itself. So the yarn's intersecting at one point. Then pick up the other side of the loop and then fold that loop over the rest of the yarn like the page of a book. So now the rest of the yarn is somewhere in the middle of that loop that you just folded over. Pick up the yarn that's in the middle of the loop with one hand, and then pick up the yarn tail with the other, and pull those two in opposite directions until a knot is formed. That is called a slip knot.
There we go. We've got our slip knot. Okay, I guess that'll work. No limbs yet, but he'll get there. He'll get
Now
there.
put the loop that you made on the hook. Because you're left-handed, you want the knot to be to the right of the hook. Pull on the yarn connected to the yarn ball until the knot is almost at the base of the hook.
That's
You
good.
want the
I did
loop
that.
on your hook, just like all the other stitches you've made, to basically be the size of the tip of the hook. Now you're going to make what's called a chain stitch. So get into regular crocheting position and hold on to the knot that you just made with your thumb and your middle finger. So your hook is in front of the working yarn like normal with the tip of the hook facing you. We're going to yarn over and then pull that yarn through the loop that's on your hook. So you have one loop left on your hook, and that is a chain stitch. Super easy. So let's pause because we want to mark this first chain stitch. So I'm going to pull my hook away from my piece to make that loop bigger so I don't lose my work. I'm going to rotate my piece a little bit so I can take a look and admire that horizontal V that I just made. That was the chain stitch. And I want to pick up the green stitch marker and use it to split that V.
There we go. Already done.
Like so. Now we're going to make a second chain stitch, so stick your hook back into this loop. Remember to put it in so that if you pull on the yarn connected to the yarn ball, the piece of yarn that's moving is the one that's closer to you. Pull it just tight enough so that this loop on your hook is the size of the tip of your hook, and then wrap
And
the
we've
yarn
got our
around your hand
second
again
chain
like normal.
stitch.
This
We're
time you're
good.
going to hold on to the stitch you just made and that stitch marker with your thumb and your middle finger so that you have more control over everything, and do another chain stitch. So that again is a yarn over and then pulling that yarn through the loop that's on your hook. So you should have one loop on your hook.
Done.
Okay, now we are ready to create a single crochet stitch. This is the first single crochet stitch of however many single crochet stitches the pattern says to put in the magic loop.
Okay.
So we want to put it in the first chain we made, which is the one that we marked with this green stitch marker. So pull the green stitch marker so it gets out of your way, and then stick your hook in the hole. So we're going to do a single crochet stitch like we have been. The only difference is that when you start, it looks like you've got two strands of yarn on the hook this time. So yarn over, bring the yarn through the hole that the hook just went through. So you've got two loops on your hook, yarn over again, and pull through both loops on the hook. And you've completed the first single crochet stitch.
All right. We're good.
And just like we did with the first stitch of every round that we made in the body, we want to pause and pick up the orange stitch marker and put it in the first stitch that we just made, because this is the first stitch of round one. So tilt your piece to look at the room, look at what V the loop on your hook traces back into. That is the V that you just made, the first stitch you just made. You can take your hook out, by the way, to make this easier. Stick your orange stitch marker under that V so that now you know where your round starts.
Perfect.
And now we're going to make 3 more single crochets in the hole marked by the green stitch marker. If you're feeling pretty confident that you can see where the hook needs to go without the help of the green stitch marker, you can go ahead and take it off to prevent this hole from getting stretched out too much. But if you still need it to see where you need to put your hook, leave it in there. Better safe than sorry.
Exactly.
So stick your hook in the hole from the front to the back so it looks like you have 2 loops of yarn on your hook. Yarn over, bring the yarn through the first loop on the hook. So you got 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over again, bring it through both loops on the hook. That was the second single crochet stitch. When you're done with all 4 stitches in the circle, it'll look something like this. And at this point, if you haven't already done so, take out the green stitch marker. You won't need it anymore.
2, oh, I need to get the tail out of there. I've got a really long tail. Oop, I wonder. Oh. Let's see, I can do this. I can do this. I just need to do one more. There we go. We'll do that. Three, and now we can remove the stitch marker. There we go. I'm gonna blow my nose before we move on. There we go. Perfect.
To start the round after a magic circle, you're gonna want to crochet into the stitch marked by the stitch marker, because remember, that is the first stitch of round 1. And now you want to put the first stitch of round 2 into the first stitch of round 1. You also want to make sure that you're holding your circle the right way. At this point, the hook should be on the left and that stitch marker should be immediately to the right of it. Here's what the piece should look like when you're done crocheting all of the rounds.
Okay, so we need to do single crochet and an increased stitch. One. Oh, oh no. You know what? Let's see. I am just a smidge lost. But we'll try it again. I'm a little lost in where to see the next V. 'Cause that's... Let's see.
To start the round after a magic circle, you're gonna want to crochet into the stitch marked by the stitch marker, because remember, that is the first stitch of round 1. And now you want to put the first stitch of round 2 into the first stitch of round 1. You also want to make sure that you're holding your circle the right way. At this point, the hook should be on the left and that stitch marker should be immediately to the right of it. Here's what the piece should look like when you're done crocheting all of the rounds.
I see what I did wrong. Okay. I see what I'm doing wrong. Okay. I may have done my... Okay. So we're going to keep that there so that I know that that was my first stitch. But I need to make sure that I'm going into this one. Okay. Single. Oh. We can do this. We can do this. We know what we're doing. Let's just do one more chain stitch. There we go. That way I've got 4. Oh. All right. Here we go. So, oh, no, I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that. That's not going to look right. There we go. That looks a lot better. Okay. So now we can single crochet. Increase. I hope this is right. Okay. And then single crochet. And then an increase. Okay, now I'm going to count back 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Almost. Come on, stitch marker, work with me. I promise I'm not about to cry. I may look like it, but I'm not. My eyes are just super focused. There we go. Okay. Oh, this looks so kind of weird, but at the same time, it's also I'm not used to this. Okay, 2 single crochets, 2 increase. Alright, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start this over. We are gonna start this all over, complete with starting the slip knot over, because I do not trust that I did any of that right. So, slip knot. And then we are going to chain stitch. Mark that. V with a 1 with a stitch marker. And we're going to chain stitch again. Then we're going to single crochet 4 times into that hole. One, come on. We can do this. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, oh, I forgot to move the tail. Two, three, I think 4? I think that's where I'm supposed to put it. And then that doesn't look, that looks like it's way too big. And one. Two, and then again into the same hole. Three. Four. Five. Six. Somehow this doesn't seem right. I'm gonna have to do a little rework, I think.
And now we're going to make 3 more single crochets in the hole marked by the green stitch marker. If you're feeling pretty confident that you can see where the hook needs to go without the help of the green stitch marker, you can go ahead and take it off to prevent this hole from getting stretched out too much. But if you still need it to see where you need to put your hook, leave it in there. Better safe than sorry. So stick your hook in the hole from the front to the back so it looks like you have 2 loops of yarn on your hook.
No.
Yarn over, bring the yarn through the first loop on the hook. So you got 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over again, bring it through both loops on the hook. That was the second single crochet stitch. When you're done with all 4 stitches in the circle, it'll look something like this. And at this point, if you haven't already done so, take out the green stitch marker. You won't need it anymore.
Put a knot into my... Alright, we're gonna give this another go. Because somehow this just doesn't seem to be looking correct. You know what I mean? Somehow just not quite looking right. Okay. So let's... You know what? It's really not a whole lot. I think I should have enough if I just cut that. It's about as long as... maybe a little longer than my other tail. I'm pretty sure they give you more than enough. But let's see if I'm able to salvage this any. Because what happened is I pulled my slip knot a little too tight. Which means that it became a actual knot versus a slip knot that should come apart easily. I salvaged it! You guys, I salvaged it! Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Alright, you guys, we've got a few more minutes. I'm going to try and get all the way to where I was before. We're going to see if we can get through this set of videos in the next few minutes. I'd like to try and master this, if at all possible. Okay, so we've made our slip knot.
And just like we did with the first stitch of every... Okay, now we're going to make a second chain stitch, so stick your hook back into this loop. Now you're going to make what's called a chain stitch. So get into regular crocheting position and hold on to the knot that you just made with your thumb and your middle finger. So your hook is in front of the working yarn like normal with the tip of the hook facing you. We're going to yarn over and then pull that yarn through the loop that's on your hook. So you have one loop left on your hook, and that is a chain stitch. Super easy. So let's pause because we want to mark this first chain stitch.
Okay.
Now we're going to make a second chain stitch, so stick your hook back into this loop. Remember to put it in so that if you pull on the yarn connected to the yarn ball, the piece of yarn that's moving is the one that's closer to you. Pull it just tight enough so that this loop on your hook is the size of the tip of your hook, and then wrap the yarn around your hand again like normal. This time you're going to hold on to the stitch you just made on that stitch marker with your thumb and your middle finger so that you have more control over everything, and do another chain stitch. So that again is a yarn over and then pulling that yarn through the loop that's on your hook. So you should have one loop on your hook.
So 1, 2, 3, see. Which one is... four? I think.
Okay, now we are ready to create a single crochet stitch. This is the first single crochet stitch of however many single crochet stitches the pattern says to put in the magic loop. So we want to put it in the first chain we made, which is the one that we marked with this green stitch marker. So pull the green stitch marker so it gets out of your way, and then stick your hook in the hole. So we're going to do a single crochet stitch like we have been. The only difference is that when you start, it looks like you've got 2 strands of yarn on the hook this time. So yarn over, bring the yarn through the hole that the hook just went through. So you've got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over again, and pull through both loops on the hook. And you've completed the first single crochet stitch.
All right, guys, I'll be right back after this ad break. All right, we are back. So,
And just like we did with the first stitch of every round that we made in the body, we want to pause and pick up the orange stitch marker and put it in the first stitch that we just made, because this is the first stitch of round 1. So tilt your piece to look at the rim, look at what V the loop on your hook traces back into. That is the V that you just made, the first stitch you just made. You can take your hook out, by the way, to make this easier. Stick your orange stitch marker under that V so that now you know where your round starts.
oh, I think I know what I'm doing wrong. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to end it here. We'll start on the tail next time, but we made a lot of progress. I need to work on getting into the magic circle because that is difficult. That is a new concept for me, but we're going to work on it and get it done together. So, you guys have a wonderful and fantastic week. I will see you guys not Tuesday because I have something going on Tuesday. Yes. But I will see you guys next Saturday and we will do another round of working on our little red dino. And he's going to look so cute. I cannot wait to see how he turns out. It's going to be amazing. I love each and every one of you. You guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Saturday. Bye! See you for D&D Soul!